Good morning, everybody. It's about 10:45 my time, and welcome back. Hope you guys enjoyed a lot of the videos that we did last week. If you want to check them out, you just have the last couple pitches for the Nightmare on Elm Street pitches, as well as my own personal pitch for what I think I do with the trilogy. And also, I talked about Next Karate Kid, which I watched, sort of a retro review, and then me and Anna ranked our favorite movies of the year. So check all those out. They're on the channel. You can find them. I'm not gonna give you a link. You just go to the channel and you can find them. They'll be there. So life is hard sometimes. Anyway, so since as I promised, I'd be getting to the Friday the 13th series, but we're not gonna do the pitch yet. I might do one tomorrow. We'll see. I got to think about these a little bit, but I thought, much like the Nightmare on Elm Street one, I would do a ranking video of the Friday the 13th movies in terms of the order of what I liked the most and which ones I liked the least. Now, I will say about this whole series is it's pretty simple, and most of them are pretty much just a bunch of people go to camp, get killed, have sex and drugs, and get killed by a guy. Most of the movies with a guy with a hockey mask, who sometimes is undead and sometimes is not. So I mean, it's a simple concept. They're fun to watch. I've watched every single one of them, so it's like multiple times. So much like the Halloween series, much like them, it's like it's not even when I do these pitches, they're never really to just trash what was. I mean, there might be some I'm like, oh, that was a bad choice, but I could still watch them. That's the thing about horror movies most of the times. Unless they're just really bad and I can't even laugh at them. I can still laugh at them. I can enjoy it, the corniness of them. So when I'm ranking these videos, it's more just which ones I enjoy the most in terms of... Because that's basically... Story has never been a big thing in the Friday the 13th series. There's been some connective tissue, but Nightmare on Elm Street, you get kind of this big backstory of how Freddy was, how he came about and stuff like that. And even then, there was, only a little bit you knew. And granted, you shouldn't have to know everything. You don't have to have a prequel and explain every damn thing. And Halloween, we pretty much got, killed his sister, and now he's the boogeyman. So, I mean, I can understand that they didn't want to go into a huge thing with Jason and all that, but obviously the first movie was his mom, so it's kind of the way the connective tissue of that movie and the second, how he became a small boy that drowned, suddenly being a full-grown adult, with no knowledge of how the hell that happened. All we saw was him jumping out of the boat at the end of the movie as sort of a nice little jump scare, and which was apparently treated like a dream sequence. So it's a fun series. They're fun, enjoyable movies I grew up on. So none of these are to trash them. None of them are to make anybody that loves these movies, or your ranking of the order can be completely different from mine. That's totally cool. We're all having fun here. We all like movies. We like this series. It's all great. And yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they do with the Peacock series. It's either going to be really bad, or it's going to be like, Bates Motel good. I think it kind of depends on casting too. Casting and writing and all that stuff is kind of an important thing. So we'll see with that. But anyway, on to the ranking video. Sorry if I sound a little stuffed up. I've been dealing with some sinus stuff this week, last couple of days. It's not really a full blown cold, but it's not COVID. It's just one of those weird sinusy things that's just been going around. It just feels like I feel like I've just permanently been sick since Thanksgiving. Off and on, not like the same thing, but just like, and I've got this now. Okay, drinking some emergency. I took some Mucinex, so it's kind of draining a little bit. So if I sound a little stuffy, that's the reason why. Anyway, I'm going to start rambling on now about my sad, pathetic life. And, not really. Also, if you guys enjoyed having Anna on the channel for the ranking video, for our best things, and you'd like to see her do more stuff on this channel, please comment down below. Always happy to have her on the channel. This channel is hers as well. I just do more with it because it's usually Friday morning and she's just doing what she wants to do. But she'll pop on from time to time, I'm sure. Also, maybe I'll do a Halloween ranking video too, since we had this whole Zoom thing and we never got to actually do it. I'd like to do that again sometime. If we can't get it to work, we'll post it up there, but maybe I'll just do my own personal ranking so that you have that. Anyway, enough talking about things other than this. Let's start with the Friday the 13th. So, in total, There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, including the remake, and including Freddy vs. Jason. 12 movies in this series. Now, some were connected, some New Line bought, and all that stuff. So, my rankings will probably be different than some people's. Because there's some I just really like, and some I'm just like, it's okay. Alright, so, we'll start from the bottom. So, number 12. We have 12 rankings to go through. So, number 12. What is the absolute worst Friday the 13th? Now, I know a lot of people really hate Jason Goes to Hell. I do not, but I'll explain. So I'll get to that one yet. So that's definitely not my last one. So let me think on this for a minute. Let me look at this list here and remember these movies. Yep, I'm going to have to go that one. So number 12 was Jason Takes Manhattan. Friday the 13th, Part 8. Now, I will give this one the reason of why that is. And like I said, it's still, I can still watch it. It's kind of fun and stupid, but it's, it does have one great thing where he knocks the guy's head off. That's funny. But most of it's Jason's on the boat, and then he gets like 10 minutes in New York. It was kind of cool seeing him, like, it was kind of funny though. There's that moment where he just like saves the one girl from these like rapey drug guys who like drugged her and shit. And it's just like, okay, well, now you just made Jason look like a hero. He's an anti-hero. And then he kind of like gets taken out by toxic waste in the sewer and then melts into a weird contraption, and then he turns into his little boy stuff. Very weird things. Very weird things. Yeah, I think the downfall of the movie is just so like, I know there were a lot of issues with shooting around New York at that time, so they can only get a little bit of. So that's why the boat plot kind of came about. That's the thing when you're like the 8th movie in a franchise, they're just like, yeah, you're not getting the whole New York experience, buddy. Sorry. We're not shutting down New York for Jason, for God's sakes. But yeah, it's fun. That's a fun little movie, but like I said, the kills are decent. There's a couple decent kills on the boat. The boat, like if they just had him on the boat, and that was the whole premise, I could have taken it as a, Jason's on a boat. But I think the main reason I do this is they really take him out of his comfort zone, which is basically been the camp. I mean, that's pretty much this entire series. Well, Jason's at the camp, killing people at the camp. So I would say that would be. There was the one time they took him out of the camp, and I don't know, maybe it just didn't resonate. But I thought, yeah, as far as the final girl, I thought she was fine. The interesting thing about this thing is these complicated backstory things. Like every movie throws in some weird shit. Like her uncle, who the actor actually he played on Three's Company. He played Chrissy Snow's father. Little known fact. So seeing him play a scumbag on here was interesting. He's been in a lot of other things too. But like he's like his uncle. He's like, yes, and you get in that water, and Jason will. And then little boy Jason is grabbing her. But it's like, wait, what? And then she keeps seeing these visions of this little boy Jason throughout the movie. Just very, very strange choices. So there's a lot of weird choices in this movie. Like I said, some decent kills. Kane Hodder's obviously having fun. But it's not the best. And they kind of lost the rights, I think. And that's kind of when Paramount gave it up, I think. And then New Line took it over. So, yeah. So it didn't do very well money-wise either. So I'd say that would be my number 12. All right. Number 11. I'm trying to think, was there anybody I've named in that movie? Not really. I mean, there's a couple people I've seen things, but a few people. But anyway. Number 11. All right. Okay. Yeah, I'll have to go with that one. Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Now, let's talk about this movie. The movie before Jason Takes Manhattan. Now, this movie is not bad. But what happened was, they wanted to do Freddy vs. Jason then, but then there was a whole rights issue. And then they were just like, well, fuck, we got to shoot. So, let's give this girl telekinetic powers and just be like Carrie vs. Jason instead. This movie's interesting. It was that year, I think it was 89, which is a bad year for most horror films. Same thing happened to Halloween 5, same thing happened to Nightmare on Elm Street 5, where the kills were very, like, MPAA was just like on top. You can't show that. You can't show that. You know, so a lot of the bloodier kills or the gory kills were cut out of the movie, which it's a Jason movie. You just have to kind of take that. There's going to be gory kills. So I think that hurts this movie a lot. I didn't really mind the telekinetic thing. I thought it was freshening it up a little bit. It's the seventh movie, so I don't mind a little change here and there. I think some people just want the same thing over and over again. I'm like, you change it up a little bit. It's always going to be in the camp, but you know. I thought the lead girl was good. I thought she did her role well, and you have the guy who played Bernie from Wicked and Bernie's playing her mean psychiatrist guy. So that's interesting, and he's fun. He's a total prick in there. And you know all these other people, these other characters in there. Nobody else has really come name value that I can remember. Sniffy crap. I hate the sniffy crap. Super Mucinex. Get this crap out of my nose. Anyway. But it's a fun watch overall. But yeah, I would say the kills are definitely very weak in terms of what happens and stuff. You have the bitchy girl. Of course, it's a bitchy girl. There's always a bitchy girl, isn't there? Also, another complicated backstory. Her father, she got really mad at her father because her parents were having a fight, and she used her telekinetic powers, and then the bridge dropped, and then he drowned. And then he comes back to life to help drag Jason back down in the water. How he came back to life? Who the fuck knows, right? Who was writing this shit? Who the fuck knows? Like the Halloween series. There's a cult. Yeah, it's a Man in Black, you know. Throw it against the wall. See what's weird. I'll watch it, whatever. So there's a lot of funny, goofy shit in there that you're just like, what the fuck? But it's not a bad watch if you did, but it's definitely very edited down. There's not a lot of kills. But Kane Hodder, once again, obviously is good and has a good time. Okay, that is number 11. All right, so number 10. All right, number 10. I would have to say Freddy vs. Jason for the simple fact. Number 1, you don't have Kane Hodder in there, who, you know, frankly, after all that time, I think he had been playing it for 4 movies straight. And him and Robert Englund were friends, too. It's like, nothing against the guy who played Jason. He was fine, I guess, but, like, Kane Hodder obviously really had a way of playing Jason. And I wouldn't even say he's my favorite Jason of all time. But I think he's very committed. The guy loved the role, you know. And it's like, I think they really should have had him in that movie, for one thing. Secondly, it's really not a very good Friday the 13th movie. In the sense that it doesn't really stick to the camp very much. You have one scene there with the camp, but like, it's just kind of, it's very much more of a nightmare film. Like I said, I rate it higher on the nightmare list because it's more of a Nightmare on Elm Street film. It's more of a Freddy film, and that's the thing too. I mean, at the same time though, it's like Freddy is very like, he's very talky and big. You know, Jason doesn't talk, so there's not really, he can't really chew up the scenery that much, but. So I don't think it was bad. Like I said, I like Freddy vs. Jason, but like I would say in terms of if you wanted to call it a Jason movie, it's not really that great of a Jason movie. It's a fun movie, like I've said before, and I talked about the Nightmare making. It's a fun movie. It's fun for the dream thing. It took a long time to get us there, but and like I said, I don't really mind the cast that much. I think the cast was pretty good, and the fight was fun. So I had a good time in the theater. That is my number 10. All right. So we're up to number 9. All right. So I'm going to say that number 9 would be Jason X. Jason Goes to Space. Like I said before, this movie is actually enjoyably bad. Excuse me. It's enjoyably bad because it's Jason in space and then he gets an upgrade. Then he becomes Terminator Jason. There's a really cool kill when he comes back to life and he like freezes the girl in the frozen thing and then just smashes her face. That's a great kill. There's also the thing where when they're trying to trick him with the camp and he does the camp kill where he smashes the person against the tree. That's funny. That's a great scene. I'll give a lot of credit. So like I said, when they're having fun with it, you can kind of laugh at it and have fun with it. Like, oh, this is dumb, whatever. Also, David Cronenberg gets killed at the beginning of the movie by Jason, who's been in this place for... I guess this is supposed to take place after both Freddy vs. Jason and Jason Goes to Hell. So Jason's just been busy, I guess, and now he's locked in some place, and then he goes to the future. He goes to the future in space. Getting it out. So anyway, it's interesting. It's a fun, dumb movie. It's kind of like, what the fuck is this? We're making this movie because we're going to make a Jason movie to keep the rights. So here you go. He's in space now. You know, that worked out really well for Hellraiser and Leprechaun too. So now we're in the future and we're in space. But there's some fun kills here and there. It's goofy. It's played for laughs. Comedy of the year, as one guy called it. The black guy in there is pretty cool too. The guy that jumps on the end. He had a kind of a Tony Todd quality in terms of... he's not as good as Tony Todd, but I've seen him in a lot of things, that actor. He takes him on. And I like the android too. She was fun. So yeah, it's a decent, fun little flick. And that's my number 9. Alright, so number 8, we'll go to Jason Goes to Hell. Now I know there is a lot of people that absolutely hate this movie because of the stuff that they did. You know, number 1, it's not even called Friday the 13th. It's called Final Friday. They were not allowed to call it Friday the 13th, apparently. That's why it's called Jason Goes to Hell. They were allowed to see who's Jason, but they weren't allowed to. It's a weird rights. They've had this weird rights issue for years. They just went through court and all that. People fighting over shit. So yeah. Oh God, it's like all in my throat. Yes, sorry guys. So yeah. Anyway, but I actually like the film, and I'll tell you why. It felt kind of fresh to me because we just had Jason Takes Him to Hat. Oh my God, so snippy. Oh. Let me pause real quick. I gotta blow my nose, guys. This is really affecting me. Sorry guys, I got a tissue here. It's Mucinex. It's working its way through my throat. So anyway, Jason Goes to Hell. So wash that down. I liked it because I remember I rented it and like, oh my God, it's a fun movie. I'll go see it. And it's interesting because the one guy that plays it, the main guy, the boyfriend or baby daddy, whatever, he was in Friday the 13th, the series, which had nothing to do with Jason at all. And I used to watch that on Sci-Fi or whatever it was, or whatever. I forget what the channel was called, but Chiller maybe? It might have been that. But I used to watch it. It was a fun show, and it was kind of cool that he was in this. Also, Creighton Duke is an awesome character. I don't think anybody says. Stephen Williams rules. I've loved that guy since 21 Jump Street. He's awesome. So I liked him. Now, obviously, there's a lot of stuff with backstory. Jason having this secret sister, and you know, only being able to be reborn. You know, there was a lot of weird lore they threw in there. You have the little Evil Dead book in there, you know, Book of the Dead, which is fine. Whatever, it's corn fun. Have fun with it, you know. But yeah, it's this is my train of thought. Anyway, but yeah, it's campy, good fun too. I like that Kane Hodder also played the security guard and calls Jason a pussy and all that. That's fun. It's like little things like that. Leslie Jordan, who passed recently, sadly, was in it too as a king, and it's a decent cast in terms of people. I think everybody does a pretty good job with their role they had. And like I said, there's a weird thing of him passing from body to body, which has been done in horror before. Those type of things. I think with that movie Fallen, Denzel Washington, kind of similar thing where, you know, jump from body to body. Now with Jason, it's like passing it. This weird, I'm going to puke this demon thing up and then put it in you. There's some very graphic body horror in this too, which it's like, oh, when the guy eats the heart and stuff. I've seen that kind of a lot of things too. But that was just a weird scene too. Where it's like, you know, they blow Jason up and, you know, I thought it was interesting. I think, you know, and a lot of people complain about the backstory and complicated them. Like, have you seen the last couple of movies, guys? They're adding random backstory that makes no continuity sense whatsoever. So this is not the first time they've messed with the backstory at all. You know, this is nothing new with Friday the series. Let's throw that shit in there too. It doesn't really make sense in the timeline at all. I mean, we should technically be in 2000 by now, but we're still in the 80s for some reason. You know, it's all kind of weird stuff. Yeah, the timeline, you think the Halloween timeline gets screwed up. But man, the Friday the 13th timeline, who knows what year they're in. It's just like, if they want to do something for like a remake or a follow-up, get the timeline fixed, guys. Get your timeline together. But no, I like the movie. I think it's and you get the little tease at the end with Freddie Glove. There's a lot of good moments in the movie, I think. Yeah, it's corny with him going in the demon going in the dead woman's vagina and he's reborn. That was a cheesy thing to do. That was a very strange choice. But like I said, a lot of people will put this as their worst Jason movie, and I'm just like, I had fun with it. I really did, and I think, like I said, I had fun with all of these. But like, infinitely for me, it's like, yes, I know people are like, whoa, but Jason's barely in the movie, and it's like, yeah, but they're doing something different with it because New Line can't do certain things with it, and they can't connect to certain, So I think their hands were kind of tied a little bit with what they were doing. That's why they just said for Jason X, they said, "Oh, he's fucking in space. Fuck it. He won't ever be happy." But yeah, I understand being a diehard fan of but it's just like, guys, it's not like I'm never really that big of a fan of the Godfather, but it's not like this is the Godfather, and they're messing with this continuity. It's like, it's freaking Friday the 13th, guys. It's Jason. He just gets in a mask and he slices people with a machete. It's just, this is not like high art here or something, Some people get crazy. I love horror fans, but people get crazy sometimes. It's like, calm down, guys. Calm down. It's not that serious. It's just Friday the 13th. It's just Nightmare on Elm Street. It's just Halloween. It's like, they're just movies. I mean, I can understand being passionate about things, but like, I'm very passionate about things too, but like, sometimes it's just like, man, no, they have ruined it all. This is the worst thing to ever happen. It's like, is it though? So yeah, that'll be it. Sorry, I didn't mean to keep rambling there, but I don't know. I just wanted to defend Jason Goes to Hell, and that's my number 8. So number 7. I'll probably have to go New Beginning, and that's part 5. Now I know a lot of people really hate this movie too. What happened was, part 4 was such a big success and made a lot of money. They're like, well, we just got to make another one. Or they could have just enjoyed that money and not. They could have just not done that. And I know people love the Jason, but like, that's the thing. Sometimes you just have no one to quit ahead, Scream was good for a while, and they brought back Scream 4, and that didn't succeed as well as the one. And now we got Scream back again, which I'm looking forward to the new one. It looks decent, but sometimes it's like, just quit while you're ahead. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Just fucking stop making movies for a while. Like, give it a rest. Halloween at least had a rest from Rob Zombie on to the new. It was at least resting time before Michael came back. There was still some fresh ideas. See, it's like sometimes you gotta like, Freddy's had a nice rest. Freddy's had a great rest. Let's bring Freddy back. Now Jason's even had a nice rest. But like, sometimes it's just like, give it a fucking rest. And that's one of those things, like, they probably should have just ended right at 4. But that's studios, they want to make money. Make another one. It's cool. So this story, obviously, we have Tommy Jarvis. This is the second movie in the Tommy Jarvis trilogy that has played by 3 different actors. And this one, I forget the actor's name. He's decent. I think he kind of reminds me of Mark Harmon a little bit. Like, he's kind of got that similar quality to his face, like with lighter hair. But there's some acting choices he makes that remind me of Mark Harmon a little bit. He's decent, but this is like about teenager more, I guess teenager. The actor's probably in his 20s, but like, he's more teenage like Tommy Jarvis, and he's obviously had some issues because he killed Jason and all this stuff. And so he goes to this camp or whatever, where all these like, troubled teens, I guess, are at this camp, which it's a camp. It's not Camp Crystal Lake, I don't believe. I believe it's just like a camp somewhere nearby, but they're helping people with mental issues, I guess, or troubled teens, whatever the case. And then like this one really heavy set guy is eating a candy bar and being annoying because he's a heavy set guy, and that's a trope. Poor heavy set guy, just trying to make friends. Unfortunately, he pisses this one guy off, and this guy just like takes him out with a fucking axe. So the first murder of the movie isn't even like a Jason kill. It's just some guy snapping and chopping a fat guy up. It's just like, or a heavy set guy, overweight guy. Sorry, I didn't mean to be offensive. But like, it's just like, what the fuck is happening? So as we find out, the rest one by one as usual, and Tommy has all these masks that he makes, and all that. So he's having trouble with some of the other kids, and some people are starting to like, oh god. And then the Jason type kills start happening. There's also these really bizarre neighbor characters. This mom who's just like, and her crazy ass Randy Quaid like son. I swear the guy reminded me of Randy Quaid because he's just like, driving around his motorcycle, and I guess Tommy Jarvis kicks his ass at one point. Oh, and the guy that got the oh god, what's his name? Because you have the little African American kid. He's cool. I like that kid. He has this cousin that's got like the jewelry curl going on. And he has this whole scene where he sings his song on the fucking toilet with his girl in the fucking outhouse or whatever. And like, oh, those damn burritos. That guy was fucking entertaining as hell. I think he's gonna do some other stuff, more name value stuff, but he's hilarious. There's a lot of hilarious characters in this. I will say this movie's enjoyable at least. And I know, Jason not being the killer is a big thing, but like, for just having fun, we're like, you know what? We've already basically killed Jason, so we've already killed Pamela, so here you go. Here's this new person using the Jason thing. So it's basically a copycat killer, essentially. But like I said, there's a lot of entertaining characters in this movie. They're just like having a fucking blast. So you know what? God bless them. But yeah, and then you find out that it's Roy who was the father of this heavyset kid that got killed, and he just snaps and kills a bunch of people, and some of them aren't even at the camp. Just roadside people, like, hey, your car broke down, kill your ass. But yeah, so that is part 5, and then it has a really weird. There's always some kind of like weird ending at Friday the 13th. All of them kind of basically have it, Maybe I'll rank the endings. Sorry guys, just use the next stuff. I'm only going to do one video today for you guys. This is just, I don't want to talk anymore. Anyway. But, anyway. The new beginning ends with, like, Tommy's in the hospital after his big fight with Jason. And this woman, Pam, I remember her name, comes, and meanwhile he has this vision that Jason's standing before him, and then he disappears, and he goes to this drawer, and there's Jason's mask. Why it's there in this random drawer in a hospital is beyond me. But like, basically a window breaks, she runs in, and well, first there's a dream sequence of him stabbing her. But like, then when he wakes up, it's Jason, and then behind the door she comes in, and he's standing there with the Jason mask ready to kill her. End of the movie. And I was just like, what the fuck? So I was like, okay, so basically Tommy Jarvis is going to become the new Jason, or is going to become the new killer. Nope! Well, the next movie we ignored that bullshit. We're not doing that crap. It was basically just like Jamie Lloyd all over again. New killer! Nope. Done with that shit. See, that's one thing you gotta say about Scream, is that like they've been smart about like, it's always a new killer. They might be inspired, there might be a relation, there might be that, but it's always a new killer. It's never like, nope, I'm back again. We're going to make Sidney Prescott the killer now. It's like, no, we're not. So yeah, that was a weird ending. I actually did a parody of it on our Adam and I channel a couple years ago. Yeah, so that would be my number 7, The New Beginning. All right, getting to the top 6 here. All right, so we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Oh, yeah, that's right. That's 6. That is 6. Okay, so, very interesting. I liked it, but I don't know if I liked it that much. I'm just figuring this out here. Yeah, I'd probably have to go with that one. So, my number 6, I would say, would be Friday the 13th 3, the 3D one. Okay, so this one is synonymous for one thing, and one thing only. Well, more than one thing. And that is that it's in 3D. But no, what's also interesting is that Jason gets his hockey mask in this movie. So that is a big synonymous point in Jason lore. Oh, wait, I have that route. I still have to rate that one, too. Okay, that's where number 6 is. Okay. I was looking at my list. I'm like, where is it? So, yeah. It's in 3D, so there's a lot of goofy 3D gimmicks going at you. Ooh, you know, there's an interesting character named Shelly, who's kind of fun. He's kind of an annoying little prankster, but he's fun. I like Shelly. Now, interesting story. We did a sketch comedy show with somebody that was in this movie. They were with the other group, but he played a role in this movie. I forget what his name was, but like, and what character he played, but he was literally in this movie, and I'm like, that's freaking cool. Very nice guy. Yeah, it's a fun little movie. It's the third movie in the series. Like I said, he gets his mask. There's this other girl who had survived, like him, like not really like. It almost implied that he was trying to rape her, but I don't think he was trying to rape her. I think he was just trying to grab her. But like they almost implied that he was trying to sexually assault her or something, which is like, that's so Jason. You know him. He's just all about that sex. He's just a sex machine, that Jason. But yeah, no, it's not bad. She's a decent final girl. Not my favorite. But you know, there's some okay characters in it and stuff like that aren't too bad. No one I can think of a name value in this movie, but but yeah, so it's a fun watch. The 3D gets a little annoying sometimes, but it's decent. You have some decent kills, and you know, they use the 3D gimmick somewhat cheesily, but it's fun. There's a weird thing with these motorcycle gang too, with Shelly and this girl. I guess it's a weird thing with the motorcycle thing. I'm not really sure why that was in there. It was just kind of a weird choice. I'm trying to think. Is it this movie or is it the second movie where the doomed guy gets killed? I think it's the second movie. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we're going to the top 5 now. Top 5. So that is like 1, 2, 4, 6, 7. All right. So, choices. All right. I'll probably put this here. So, I'm going to say my top 5. Number 5 is the remake. Now, let me say this one. I've not heard as much hatred for this remake. You know, the Nightmare remake got a lot of, Halloween remake got a lot of, But this one I don't hear as much. There's people who have problems with it, but, like, I don't hear as much bashing. I showed it to Anna, and she even liked it pretty much. So it's, like, it's enjoyable. You have Jared Padalecki in there from Supernatural fame, of course. He's on Walker, Texas Ranger, Walker, whatever the hell it's called now. Also, What's-Her-Face from The Flash is on there, too. And then there's this guy playing Trent. Oh, my God. This guy is such a fucking douchebag. Like, he's so good. He was also on You last season of You. And he's fucking hilarious. This guy plays douchebags really well. Like, that's like one line he has. He's like, you got perfect nipple placement. And shit. Like, who says this shit? But yeah, there's all these other goofy characters in there, too. But you know what I liked about it? Was that they kind of combined the first couple movies. The things that happened in the first couple movies. Because he starts off, he has kind of the sackhead. He gets his mask. Pamela Voorhees gets killed. Played by a very awesome Nana Visitor from Deep Space Nine, by the way. Respect. She should have had a bigger part in the movie, though. But she plays the flashback scene. She plays Pamela Voorhees. And pretty convincingly, too. I wish they had done more with her, though. Because she's awesome. DS9, baby. Anna got me into that, so it's good shooting. The guy playing Jason is probably one of my favorite Jasons, and he's only in one movie. But Derek Mears is his name. He also played Swamp Thing, the short-lived Swamp Thing series that deserved more time. But like he's pretty good. And I also like what they do is they make him more of like sort of a huntsman kind of part of the thing. And he runs after people. For the love of God, he runs after people. That's much scarier if someone's running at you than it's like slow plodding guy in a map. Like, no, he runs after these motherfuckers. And he's like, he shoots arrows at people and like, I mean, he's fucking vicious. He's actually fucking scary. And like, that's what I really appreciate about the remake. And why a lot of people give enough credit to the remake is that like, yeah, there's some early 2000s issues, and some of the characters are douchebags. You don't really care about them. Like, I mainly cared about Jared Padalecki finding his sister, which is also a plot point from part 4. That guy was looking for his sister too. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff they tie in. But like, it's a fun movie. There's some decent kills. That opening scene was fucking brutal. And like I said, a great Jason, a good, Jared Padalecki's fun, a good surrounding cast. It's not perfect. There's definitely some characters you're like, yeah, I can give a shit about this character dying. You definitely like it when Trent dies. But at the same time, yeah, he was an entertaining asshole at least. So yeah, that would be my number 5. I definitely, if you haven't seen the remake, I encourage you to check it out. It's actually pretty good. I think it respects the original movies pretty well. Like it pretty 1 through 4 pretty well. All right, the top 4, baby, top 4. All right, so I'm gonna go number 4, the original Friday the 13th, Sacrilege. That's the thing about the Friday series, and as you saw, my nightmare ranking, it's not always the first movie. Because I like Dream Warriors more than I like the first movie. And I love the first movie. I also love the first Friday the 13th. I think Pamela Voorhees is a great fucking villain. I think she's crazy. She's scary. Very scary. And is like, even though you only meet her for like 10 minutes, she's very effective. It's a very guess who the killer is. I think Alice is a good final girl. I wish she wouldn't have been stalked by some maniac that she had to be killed in the first 10 minutes of the next movie. And I think she would have had a lot more respect as a final girl, but I thought she was fine. Kevin Bacon is in this movie, so that automatically makes it better. He gets stabbed through the fucking throat. He doesn't last very long, but Kevin Bacon's in this fucking movie. So that, me and my friends had this running joke of Kevin Bacon is so amazing he can play the water. And, and we would just go through, one day we watch it, we're just like, Kevin Bacon is the water. Kevin Bacon is the boat, It was silly, dumb shit, doing late at night. We were in high school, whatever. But Kevin Bacon, baby. The following wasn't that great, but he was good. And I really like City on the Hill. I wish they wouldn't have canceled it because it was really good. Just a side note. But yeah, the original is a fun watch and good kills. Very good kills. And, the characters themselves are just kind of, cookie cutter for the most part, but it's not bad. It's not bad. I have to say though, is this that movie? No, it's the second movie. Okay. Gotta say though, some of these and the doomed guy, you're all doomed. That guy's awesome. Soothsayers rule. It's weird in both this third movie and a little bit the second movie how there's always this guy at the camp that's like, even a little bit in this first movie, that's kind of creepy towards one of the girls. And he's clearly older than her. And he's just kind of like, oh, I'll take my shirt off and be like that, It's just kind of like, oh, yeah. Watching sometimes it's like, no, I'm not one of those people that's like, this is problematic, It's like, well, that's not really. I mean, it is in the sense of like, this should not happen in the real world. But at the same time, I just watch the movie for watching a movie. I'm just watching a goddamn movie. You can acknowledge things wouldn't work today without making it seem like, well, this movie is just unwatchable now. It's like, it's only unwatchable if you think it's unwatchable. You choose to make it unwatchable. I think it's fine. But it's just interesting that I was thinking like, some of these guys come off as kind of creepy towards their significant others or wannabe significant others. So anyway, that would be my number 4, the original Friday the 13th. Woohoo! All right, number 3, part 2. Our introduction to Jason. This is pretty good too. For what they had to do, they made a sequel. It's funny how like I was telling it's interesting that John Carpenter, Wes Craven, and Victor Miller, I believe it was one directed. They all just wanted to make one movie. They had no intention of making a sequel. There was no plan to have Jason come back. Freddy was dead. Michael Myers was, oblivious. He disappeared, whatever. None of them want to make a goddamn sequel. But Hollywood came a-going because it made fucking money and we gotta cash in on this shit. It's interesting. I think nowadays, more people are getting into the thing of like, Scream did it and like the recent Halloween stuff. Of just plan on doing a goddamn trilogy. You may just start off with the first movie, but if that does well, you're going to do a goddamn trilogy. You are. Just plan for it now. Because that's probably I say that's my best way. Because back then, they're just like, nah, I just want to make a movie. I made a movie. It was cool. Cool. It made money. Cool. Awesome. But like, I think most of these people back then, it's like, I just wanted to make a movie. So anyway, Jason was never supposed to come back. He was just supposed to be a little jump scare. So anyway, then they thought, let's bring Jason back as an adult. He'll kill Alice in the first 10 minutes after a cat jump scare. And his dead mom's thing in the fridge. Yeah, and Alice is gone. It's an interesting build up to the scene. You see these footsteps walking towards it and stuff. So yeah, too bad that Alice had to die, like I said, but there were reasons for it. So if you ever heard that, she was being stalked by some crazed fan, and that was just to kind of get away from the spotlight of it and stuff. So that's fair enough. Her safety is definitely more important than her character surviving the series. But we do get a pretty good Ginny. That's the way the boyfriend yells out, Ginny. She's pretty good final girl. One of the best ones of the series, I would say, for sure. Good final girl. And that great scene where she puts the sweater on and pretends to be the mom and to get Jason. And this is Sackhead Jason. This is before he gets his mask and stuff. So he's wearing the Sackhead like he's the what's that one from Texas? The killer in Texas that wears a Sackhead. Oh my God, what the hell is that movie? The town that dreaded sundown. That's what it is. Yep. Movie knowledge. That's where the Sackhead Jason came from. But yeah, essentially in this though, they never really explain like how Jason's alive, how Jason is a fully grown adult now, or at least a fully grown adult body. Oh well, you just kind of, it's one of those kind of things you just kind of like, well, this is what we're doing. Just go with it, guys. It's an 80s movie. So yeah, so that can be bothersome somewhat, but it's fine. We're doing this. He's a new killer. Okay. Pamela Voorhees is gone. Her head's chopped off. She's not coming back. There's a lot of decent kills in this too. Our good friend Ralph, the soothsayer, gets killed. I'm like, what the hell? But he's not. He's there in the third movie to warn people to be doomed. But yeah, good final girl, good final scene there. Weird kind of jump thing through the window where he's like his hair. And he got this. It's a weird thing with the last jump scare. Like I said, all these jump scares at the end are weird because you have that one and the second one. You have, of course, him coming out of the water. The third one, he's just kind of like lifts up his mask and goes, with his big face and all that. And she's like laughing maniacally in the boat. Fourth one is really just Tommy's face, looking at it. Fifth one is, of course, the Tommy Jarvis. The sixth one, I don't think there is one in the sixth one, is there? Maybe not. I remember the seventh one either. I think it's just him under the water. Yeah. Eighth one is just the dog running up. So yeah, really interesting scares. But yeah, that would be my number 3, part 2. So, the final 2. Alright, so Jason Lives would be my number 2. Now, let me tell you, there's people who don't like this movie because it is very comical and tongue-in-cheek. I feel at this point, we're in the 6th movie. You just had the new beginning, which a lot of people didn't like. So they had to bring Jason back. They had to resurrect him from the fucking dead. Now he's zombie Jason. So, why not have some fun with it? I love the opening scene where it's like James Bond, but with a slashing. That's a great scene. They're very tongue-in-cheek, this movie. It's the third of the Tommy Jarvis trilogy. This time played by Tom Matthews, who also was in Return of the Living Dead, a great movie. Fun movie. And various other movies. He's a decent Tommy Jarvis. He does get the guy from Welcome Back, Kotter killed at the beginning, though. So, come on, Tommy, what the hell? I forget the guy character's name, but like that actor was in Welcome Back, Kotter. I'm old. I remember these shows. So anyway, but yeah, it's an interesting opening scene. They're just like, yeah, we're going for this. Lightning strikes and he's back now. He's just back and he's a zombie now. So just roll with it. And they've changed Camp Crystal Lake to Forest Green. This will make people forget about that camp thing. There's some great scenes in here, though. There's some good characters. I like the sheriff's daughter. I think there's a good chemistry with her and Tommy Jarvis and stuff. She's fun. Her friends aren't bad either. Some of the friends. Interesting, too, that Alice Cooper... Was this the one that had a... No, that was the 7th movie that had a... That's right. Never mind. Strike that, reverse it. Was it that movie? I'm trying to remember. There's one where Alice Cooper did a song for it, which is super cool. I'm trying to think, it was the 7th one or was this one? I can't remember. Fuck it. It's been a while since I've seen it. Anyway, this isn't a full review of these movies, so good if I haven't seen it in a while. But yeah, it's enjoyable. I like the tongue-in-cheek thing. I like that they're just like, yep, this is what's happening now. There's a great scene where he's showing up and the kids are in the camp and it's almost like this boogeyman walking by and they're just trying to hide under their blankets. And to give Jason credit, he doesn't kill the kids. The sheriff gets fucking bent fucking over, man. God, he gets killed badly. I like that actor too. He was good. And then they pretty much just put him under the water with a thing around his neck. Excuse me. A rock around his neck, basically. A big old rock to keep him under the water. You keep your butt under that water, mister. Till the next movie when a boat motor will break the chain. Okay. That's what we're doing. Well, at least they didn't have a dog pee on his grave. They're all stupid sometimes. But anyway, that's my number 2. So that means number 1 is the final chapter. Friday the 13th, Part 4. This is, by far, I feel, the best of the Friday the 13th movies. Because, for one, you have Corey Feldman in there, which is awesome. Number 2, you have Crispin Glover dancing like a fool. That's awesome, too. But yeah, I like the characters. You have the sister, who's Tommy Jarvis' sister. The mom. You have the guy looking for his sister. That's a plot point going on. And you have a bunch of other surrounding characters who are, doing the usual Friday the 13th thing, having sex. But it's interesting. I like that they actually went through with killing Jason. Because you would have thought at that point, like, by the 4th movie, like, mostly it was like, nah, we're not done with this guy yet. But they really, he usually dies in most of the movies, but, this is the final chapter. We're killing him now. This is it, guys. We're done with Jason. We've exhausted this. We've done 3 movies now with Jason. That's it. And I like the scene with him and Corey Feldman. Corey Feldman's fun in the movie, it's a well-made movie. Probably one of my favorite Jasons as well. I think that guy, I forget who it was, Ted White maybe, but really good Jason. I think he really does emotions well. The face when he takes the mask off and then the thing going through his eye. That's pretty good. And I like that as the. I feel like that's the definitive Jason movie. If you're looking for the Pamela Voorhees movie, the original's great. But in terms of definitive Jason movie, I feel like that is the best one. It's got a little bit of comedy, but it's more horror based. But I also like Jason Lives for being just tongue in cheek and saying, yeah, we're on the 6th movie, guys. Let's just fuck it. Excuse me. I'm going to stop talking for a while now. So anyway, guys, that is my Friday the 13th ranking video. I hope you enjoy that. Feel free to add your rankings down below. You may completely disagree with me, and that is A-okay because we're all allowed to have opinions, by God. I hope you enjoyed this, guys. I'll try to work on some pitches for Friday the 13th sequels if I was directing them or doing them. What I would do with them or writing them or whatever. Whatever I'm just saying. I don't know. All right, guys, so I'm going to rest my voice for the rest of the day because, yeah, this Mucinex is drying me out, man. It's drying me out, man. I can't talk anymore. All right, guys, so cool. Thanks for tuning in, and I will be back with pitches probably tomorrow. Have a good one, guys.